Want to be happy? Build a life, not just a business. Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and this channel was created to help you overcome the #1 challenge that is holding you back, a lack of belief in yourself. You watch these videos because you know you're capable of more. You've got Michael Jordan level genius at something. So today, let's live your best belief life and get some amazing motivation from Dame Dash. Enjoy.
What are some key elements of your honor code that, one, are just absolutely central to it, and that, two, if you could pass to the culture in an instant, what would you pass?
I mean, if you have an agreement with somebody, if me and you have an agreement, I don't care what the rest of the world looks at as bad or good, we have to honor our agreement, period. So honor means that when you agree and you guys have, as men or a professional, an adult, your word got to mean more than anything. You know, if you say you're going to do something, you got to do it. And that's what the street kind of was. You know, it was like, even though the rest of the world doesn't believe in certain things that were going on, there was this code. You know, no snitching. You know, no messing with your homies' girls. No serving anyone pregnant. You know, just things that were laws that were unwritten, you know. But there was honor. Honor means more than anything, bro, and it protects you no matter what. And I could just say that based on my experience. There ain't no street. That's just some real. The street might, like, I'm a guy that maybe I need to see some to learn honor. And maybe that's the reason why I was put in that situation, because once I learned honor, I'd be able to affect the rest of the world. Like, you never know why things happen. But that's about perspective, right?
As a professional, the only way to be a professional is to work harder than everybody. A professional, like a professional baseball player, a boxer, is someone that's better than everyone else. That's why he gets paid so much to do it. That means work. It ain't nothing professional going to get given to you. There's some sacrifice, there's always pain, and, you know, there's always going to be dark times, because that's part of business. Every time you create a new business, you got to struggle a little bit. And it takes a while to build a brand. It takes about 5 years to be consistent. Like my first 5 years, you know, I'm not saying nothing different. I've been saying the same exact stuff. If you go look at backstage and any kind of argument I had, it's always been consistent. It's just people weren't ready for it. They didn't trust it. But after I've been saying it for 10 years, or 5 to 10, now it's a brand. I have a brand for it. I'm consistent. I back it up. I'm still here. I'm still up. Even when, you know, being an independent meant looking like you was down.
Failing is never failing. It's always a learning experience. So the thing about business is how deep your pocket is. I always say that. Like, if you got a lot of money, you can sustain these losses until they turn into gains. But if you have a short paper, if your money's not long, or if you don't have enough, you have to make sure that those losses don't kill and compromise your pocket.
And at that point, you got to get creative.
But when you do anything, you get better at it the more you do it. And the first time you do anything, you usually don't do it correct. So it's not failure, it's learning experience. If you would get up, and it's like in a fight, the first round you might get knocked out, right, but by the last round you get up and knock that person out who won. Right. You might have lost the round, but you win the whole fight. But you got to lose some rounds in business, but at the end of the day, you want that unanimous decision. You got to keep going, you got to finish the fight. The question is, do you have the stamina to finish?
Also, if you want to have more self-confidence and self-belief, check out my 254 series, where every day for the next 254 days, I will send you an unlisted video. The science says it takes up to 254 days of consecutive action to build a habit. So I'm going to be with you every step of the way. If you want to be on for free, 100% free, is a link below. Go check it out. I'll see you there.
One thing you have to really never do is compare yourself to other people.
Absolutely.
That's the one thing you can't do. I never wanted to be a part of a crowd. I always wanted to be an individual. I hated when everybody looked the same. So it was like, it was corny to me to like something because somebody else liked it. So I was like that guy that was like, if you like it, I'm not gonna like it.
You get on the web and you check out who's Dame Dash, and there's so much crap. How do you deal with that, and how do you suggest other people deal with it when they reach a certain level of celebrity?
I mean, when you sign on to being a certain level of celebrity, you got to know they're going to say things, and, you know, things are going to get eyeballs and get people to buy, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I really don't care. And one of the reasons why I think I've been successful is because I didn't care. If I cared, I probably would be too scared to promote people that people don't want to promote. You know, it takes fearlessness to be first, you know, to not move with a crowd, to move alone, you know, and you get scrutinized by people that do move with a crowd because they got to make you look bad to make themselves look good. It's all part of the game. It's like a guy that's in high school that gets all the girls. The rest of the dudes hate him in high school. So my whole life has been being that guy in high school that everyone hates because I keep taking their girls.
I can understand that.
It's not a bad life. So that's how I look at it. The price of success is unsuccessful people don't like you. Who cares?
Like successful people don't care about what another person's doing.
Successful people want everybody else to succeed too.
Exactly, that's my point.
That's this whole mindset that people don't understand.
Right. So it's usually a bunch of unsuccessful, bitter people. And I was the guy in school that got kicked out of every school. I was the class clown. I wasn't the guy that you would traditionally think would go this far. So me making it made all my teachers look stupid. Every principal that kicked me out of school looked stupid. I went to South Kent in Connecticut on scholarship. I didn't come back the next year. The next time I came back was on a helicopter, and I landed it on the soccer field. When I got kicked out of Dwight in the 7th grade, my son came back, and they were asking me, I put my son through there. I paid full tuition plus extras for tutoring, and they asked me to build a library. I'm like, the same principal that kicked me out is asking me to build a library. So it's egg on all their faces. My success makes a lot of people look like they were wrong, because a lot of people articulated the fact that I wouldn't be what I am today. And either way, I didn't care, but I think it's kind of funny. It's egg all over their face, scrambled. Have you ever watched a James Bond movie where it doesn't look like he's losing at some point and then he wins? Or Batman, or Iron Man, or any superhero? There has to be some diversity for you to, overcome to win. You can't be a champ unless you, are in a place where you look like you're gonna lose and then you win. The pain that's gonna come with being independent, you have to embrace it, because it's gonna happen. And also know that the more successful you get, the more problems you're gonna have, the more knots you're gonna have to untie. Being a boss does not mean smooth sailing. It means having the ability to care about other people before yourself and to untie problems, untie knots. That's all it is. It's not business if there's not problems. There's nothing good without struggle. It just doesn't happen. In all my experiences, there hasn't been one thing that's been successful without me feeling some pain before it was successful. So now when there is pain, I embrace it. I've been embracing it. I'm a G about it, because I know that must mean that if I'm cool, that, what awaits me is like the darkest before the dawn. I don't want to sound corny, but that's really that's what has to happen. On one hand, yeah, my mom's died. It broke my heart. But on the other hand, it made me great. It's about perspective, what I learned from it, how I choose to look at it. Like sometimes I'll talk to somebody and, they'll be abusive, or they'll be drinking, and I'll be like, why you do all that drinking? Why are you so abusive? Oh, my dad was drinking. He was abusive. That's all I know. And then you ask somebody else, and they're like a straight square. They don't drink, and they're not abusive. And you be like, yo, how come you don't drink? How come you're not abusive? Yo, I saw my dad. It's just about perspective. And then that's how I look at things with my pops. I was like, I know I'm a good dad because everything he did I didn't like. I ain't doing to my kid. I'm not going to pass the cycle. But, some people might look at it and say, I'm just going to pass the cycle because he passed it to me. Perspective.
What does it truly mean to be independent?
Just to be able to do whatever I want to do whenever I feel like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I couldn't imagine, that's why I hated school. I just, and I'm not saying people should hate school, but I just couldn't stand a teacher that I didn't think was cool or smarter than me telling me what to do. And then I had to sit there and listen.
For anybody who actually has that fear, that wakes up and they deal with that fear and they go into a job and they're in between deciding if they're just going to go out and be independent or not, what are your words for them?
I would say blindly do it. Quit and figure it out. The more uncomfortable it makes me feel, the better. You cannot be great comfortable. Ever. See, the one thing a boss has to realize is your job isn't to take care of yourself, your job is to take care of other people. So that means you have to completely be selfless.
Right.
If you're selfish at all, you're not a boss.
Right.
If you don't have the ability to care about other people before yourself, you're not a boss.
Right.
People practice being bosses every day because they're parents. You care more about your child than you care about yourself. That's like your business. That's what a boss does. I've had to pay my staff before I pay my own bills because they did the work. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what a boss does. Confidence and not giving a it makes you so lean. Don't give a factor. That makes it where you don't care what people think. You never feel like you're being judged. You never want to be a part of a crowd. And you just, you're just fearless about the way you feel about things, And then also you got swag. You just do what you want regardless of what people think. And it feels good.
But it's tough, man. It's tough,
What's tough?
Initially. Well, when you're brand new to independence,
it's a mind state.
Yeah, it's a mind state. It's a tough mind state.
It depends on what you value as wealth.
Right.
If you value your freedom and your happiness as ultimate wealth, or if you value perception and physical things as ultimate wealth, you're either gonna physical things is temporary, so you're gonna hustle for the temporary, or you're gonna hustle for the forever. Your soul is forever.
Absolutely.
You don't want to cash that out. You know what I'm saying? For temporary things, for physical.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's the ultimate test. It's like, yo, are you gonna really be wealthy? Meaning, are you gonna be happy? Or are you gonna look happy? You understand? Are you gonna worry about how people see you and buying physical things that make you look better than you are? Or do you really wanna really feel good?
So how do you want to make money?
I just
So
want
this is
to.
what I do, right? Take yourself to 5 years. Where do you want to be in 5 years? See, the thing about it is, to shoot a movie, you need a script, right? You can't just freestyle it. You can't say, I want to say this or kind of like that. You have to be very direct. And then you put all your energy to what you want, you visualize it, and then it has to happen.
I'm a filmmaker, so.
So you want to make movies?
Yeah, I want to make. I mean, I've done that, but I want to do it to where I don't have to worry about a regular
I got it.
job. Yeah.
This is the way I would do it. So I would make as many short films as I can, just so people can start seeing that you're good. I would star in the movie if I want to be in it or in the short film. Like a real artist is someone that's damn near obsessed with it. Like a painter should be painting 8 hours a day. A band should be rehearsing 8 hours a day. If you're a businessman, you should be doing your business 8 hours a day. So if you're focused on something and you're doing it 8 hours a day, then you're doing it at a professional level, but you gotta know what you focused on, and then you can take things into your own control. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not easy. Expect pain, expect anxiety, expect everything to go wrong, and just be cool. Breathe easy, and then just see it out. Because a lot of people start but don't finish when things don't happen the way. It's never going to happen the way you want it to happen, ever. And if it does, do not trust it. It's the devil.
It's hard. You do a lot, and it's all relative. You know what I mean? Like the first time I heard a record on the radio, I was excited. The first time I saw my video on television, I was excited. The first time I saw a movie at a theatrical level, it was very exciting. You know, first times of anything are exciting, and I tend to have a lot of first times. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's absolutely incredible.
So I try to recreate that first time feeling by doing new things. You know, traveling the world is important. Opening up art galleries all over the world has been fun. You know, opened up an art gallery in Hong Kong was dope, as well as Charleston, as well as the Lower East Side, as well as Tribeca. All of those first times were great. You know what I'm saying? Being in different neighborhoods, moving, and not being scared to, you know, have growing pains and things to that nature. So it's all been really fun. It's been a blast. A business plan about a business that doesn't exist is a lie, because you can't say, like, what are your facts based on? Because it hasn't happened yet. You can't really determine who's going to buy what and how much it's going to sell. You can't say, I'm going to make $1 million this year. Did you make $1 million last year? Yeah. No. But what I'll do is put together it's like a script. I'll put together how I'm gonna make the goods, how I'm gonna market the goods, how much it's gonna cost to buy the goods, what's my margin, and then when I'm gonna sell it, and then how much I'm gonna put back into the business, and how much I'm gonna put in my pocket. Right. You know, it's that kind of thing. You know, I write things out. Like, if you look on the put that on the wall right there, right? If you can see it, you see the piece of paper, all that on the that's shit I gotta do. You know, I like to put things on the wall. I need to know what I got to do. I need to look at it. I need to cross it out. I don't consider that a business plan per se, but I have a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a plan. Plus, you want other people to understand the plan, because you can't do anything on your own. So you want to be able to articulate it to them a way they understand, and that they can look back at it. Because I talk quick, and like you said, a lot of times I say, you like, I didn't understand that, but you're not going to tell me until a year later. Yeah. You know, so you want to have something someone can keep looking at, and they can see you crossing it off, and then they can kind of get it by absorbing pause.
You know, I support the arts and I give people platforms. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, a real person that is supposed to be a leader is supposed to serve the people. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to be worried about yourself. You know what I've been thinking about lately? You notice that in the music business, traditionally, it's the businessman that's robbing the artist, and the artist ends up with the behind the stories of where they are now.
Where they at now? Nobody.
All my
really
artists that
them.
I ever touch are rich. They doing well, and I'm the one that's always looking broke. Why? Isn't that weird? It's because I give it all away. I'm not trying to take an artist and have him in my pocket for his life and jerk him and have him resent me. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to get him out my pocket and be like, look, man, go win, go eat, go be yourself, but leave me alone.
What I find is a lot of people are really insecure about themselves. They don't think they're as interesting as they are. So many people be so quick to make money off other people's experience. I'm like, yo, but you got your own. Like, what's the purpose of that? It makes no sense.
Say that again, yeah.
And that's what I had to do. That's what you had to do.
Right.
Once we started to believe in ourselves, we work a little harder, but you end up reaping all the benefits on it on your own terms. And it feels 100% good, and you can control the people you around, and it makes the most sense. I wanted to capitalize off everything I thought I was the best at. So I thought I was the best at dressing. I didn't think nobody could dance better than me, so I thought I knew hit records. I knew I had the best, most authentic experiences, so I knew I'd make the best movies, and I just wanted to do all those things. But in hindsight, I just like to do because I like to do. It's fun. I'm really creative. Yeah. You know what I mean? I just like to be artistic freely, and you know, it's like I don't know. I just like doing it. I just thought, you know, I'm having so much fun. And, you know, when you get success relatively young, it's like, you know, you get settled, but then you're going to get bored. So, you know, I was a mogul when I was in my 20s. So I was like, I want to go do fashion. I want to run around the world. Everything I see or hear about, I want to see it personally. I want to live it. I want to know it. I want to touch it.
How do you stay motivated and not get burned out?
I only do what I love. You got to do what you love. You can't get burnt out, and I do get burnt out. You know, once I'm in the business and I don't enjoy it no more, that's the thing. It's hard for me to stay in the business for a long period of time because the people tend to make me sick. So as soon as I start to get aggravated, you know, it's like I'll be on the block. If the block starts to make me mad, I go to another block. Even if I got the block clicking, it's just like I won't compromise my quality of living. You know what I'm saying? But like right now, what I'm doing is, you know, I'm building things that I could pass to my kids, but only things that I love and my family. So I love making movies. I'm making movies. I love it. I don't think I'm gonna be burnt out with that anytime soon, you know. And then also, when you're in the business of making money off other people, that person could make you sick, and you don't want to make money off them no more. So that's the reason why I try to only make money off myself these days, and also do things that, you know, my girl or my wife, Rocky, if she's inspired, then we'll do that business. And like something revolving my children, I'll do that business. But I worked hard to put myself in that position.
Was there some pivotal moment for you in your life where you just really got it and something happened, a fire ignited inside you that made it so that you had all the moving parts to make this amazing career unfold?
I think the death of my mother probably got me really focused, and I understood that there wasn't going to be anyone there to take care of me. I had to take care of myself. And just out of respect for her life and all the things she did to make me a better person, I had to apply all those things. So, you know, at like 17, my mother died when I was 16. At 17, you know, I was running the streets so heavy and it was getting so critical that I put myself in boarding school. You know, I figured out how to get a scholarship, and because of the ability that my mother gave me to articulate what's on my mind, to read, to write, you know, to not be afraid. And also I was, you know, boxing. So I went to the boys club, and they were giving out scholarships for, you know, you took a test, I passed the test, and, you know, I made it. And I would just always able to put myself in a better place. I never let anybody else control my destiny. My mom's taught me to make things happen on my own, not to depend on anybody, and if I have an opinion, to speak on it.
If you had to sum up your message about life, what would you say?
I mean, you know, my name is Dame Dash, right? And with the dash in between the beginning of when you born, you die, that dash, that's the life, that's your life. So I think we're here to live, we're here to learn. You know, we're not here to be perfect. We're supposed to embrace all our imperfections. And I think if we find and can imagine the bright side in anything, that will become a reality. But you can't think anything's gonna be given to you other than opportunity. And the only way to show appreciation for opportunity is to react, not to say thank you, but to actually do something. And not everyone gets opportunities. So I think appreciating those opportunities is really important, because the next time those opportunities will not be presented. And I think every single day for everybody, there's a lesson, there's a test. And if you don't pass the test, you do not move forward. You stay in the same place. And then that test becomes a little harder, and if you don't pass it again, you actually go backwards. And then instead of the test being in front of you, where you could look at the test, it's in back of you, and it's smacking the shit out of you in the back of your head, and it hurts, and it's embarrassing. So I always advise people to look out for those tests, not the ones when people are looking, just when no one's looking.
Define the culture vulture benefit.
It's someone that exploits a culture and benefits from a culture that it doesn't help. You know, period. That it just hurts, and it just sucks out everything from it, but it could give a fuck about it. That's a culture vulture, you know?
And it happens more times than not. I mean, it's all over the place.
Well, creative people usually aren't so worried. Well, creative people usually aren't so worried about monetization. You know, they want to pay their bills, but non-creative people are solely making money off of a creative.
And they don't get the creative people.
And it means they kind of have to rob them. At a young age, I remember getting yelled at in nursery school Like I was 4 or 5, and I felt this feeling of embarrassment. And at that moment, I was able to identify that feeling, and I was like, I will never let myself feel embarrassed again. So from then on, nothing.
At that young an age?
Yeah. I would just, I didn't like the feeling. Like I felt funny. I felt like I was shrinking. Like, when Fred Flintstone gets yelled at and you get smaller?
Yeah.
I didn't like anybody making me feel smaller just by the energy of their voice. So it was almost like I put this repellent on where nothing could embarrass me. You know what I'm saying? So I just never really cared. And I never wanted to be a part of a crowd. I always wanted to be an individual. I hated when everybody looked the same. So it was corny to me to like something because somebody else liked it. So I was like that guy that was like, if you like it, I'm not gonna like it. I always wanted to be first and never be last. I never wanted to follow a trend. I've always wanted to start it. And I think that comes from the Harlem swag and all that. And that confidence is what made me not really care. So when I would speak about things that no one else was speaking about, or if I was going to do something that no one else did, I embraced that loneliness, because it meant I was doing something right. Where other people
weren't scared of standing out there on your own.
And as a result of it, because I would always give 100 fearlessly and stand behind my point of view, I always got the reception that I thought that I deserved, which was, being able to have the life that I wanted. Again, recognize what really makes you happy. If you feel like you're losing, you're losing. It doesn't matter what other people feel. So I know how it feels to be perceived as winning and be feeling like, I'm losing. I stopped living according to what people wanted me to do. I started living according to what actually made me happy. Like if you're in a situation that don't make no sense, then get out of it. Don't make it make sense. 1 + 1 always equals 2. If you're not happy, change your life. Entrepreneurship is in everyone, but not everyone has the discipline for it. But anyone can be an entrepreneur, but not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Some people rather depend on other people because they feel like they don't have to work as hard. But being an entrepreneur means working hard. It means embracing struggle. It means being a leader. It means never sending somebody to do something that you wouldn't do yourself. A real boss would never send somebody to do something they wouldn't do themselves. A boss that tells somebody to do something that they wouldn't do is not a boss, he's a coward. And those principles came to me from the people I knew in the street. Right. So somebody gonna be like, yo, kill that nigga for me, but you kill him yourself.
I know all about it.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but if you're a guy that'll be pushing buttons, but you won't do nothing, you're not a real boss. Fight, expect to be uncomfortable. And if you're not devoting between 8 and 12 hours a day on your craft, then you're not really trying to be a professional. Right. Like you gotta realize you're trying to be competitive. Being a professional means being the best in the world. That doesn't just come with skill, that comes with discipline. Right. That means you have to have a certain kind of work ethic. That means you're doing things that most won't. Right. People really don't understand it. Like they think they got skill, so everything's gonna come to them. Skill is actually like a curse. I've seen people with no skill that realize it and understand that they have to work hard to get this skill, work so hard that they do better than the people that have skill and that are arrogant and entitled that feel that it should just come to them and then they just become a waste. Right. Having potential is if you don't realize it. Right. It becomes corny. Like you're the cool guy when you have potential, but like 10 years later, if you don't realize it, then you're the corny guy. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I never want to ever be that guy.
So people who take the leap and they make they take that first passion and build a business, or they start something, but they have other talents or other disciplines that they want to build things around. How have you managed to build multiple companies or take that blueprint and apply it to different areas and manage that? It's because I look at all the little companies as marketing for one company. When I make a movie, I got to make the movie, right? So I got to do that. But also, after I make the movie, I got to distribute the movie. So I'm going to build the platform like Dame Dash Studios or whatever app. I'm going to distribute it. Right. You know what I'm saying? Then while you're watching the movie, like you gotta wear clothes, I wear clothes. I like to make clothes. I have the ability to do it. I was in the fashion business, still am. So I make all the clothes. It's a commercial for the clothes. I like music, but not in a traditional sense. I don't want to monetize and exploit artists, but I do have a deep catalog of music that I've made while I was just inspired in the moment. I could use the music in the movie. So now you can sell the music, you're selling the fashion, people drink, right? So why won't you drink the liquor that I make? I make the liquor. So then now you could, drink the liquor. But if I'm just saying, so everything you see, I feel like I want to make because I have the ability to do it. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I do it. So I basically leverage the things that people pay for. That's what I use for marketing. So I've always look at Rockwear, look at State Property. When I have a movie called State Property, you got clothing called State Property, you have an album called State Property. State Property did 20-something million in clothes that year just because of the commercial that the movie presents. Why would I pay somebody to do something I could do myself? Like, why am I pay a bodyguard when I could fight? What I try to do when I start companies is learn every single job before we start hiring. So for example, with Dame Dash Studios, I actually got Boogie running Dame Dash Studios and Raquel.
editing and posting and doing the things so that when they hire somebody, they'll know what to tell them to do, and they'll know how long it takes, and they'll know if that person's doing their job or not.
I tried to bring everybody that was like kind of doing it at the time. I'm not even gonna say no names, but every name I'm talking about. Put them in a room, raise the money, and one just would not do it. It's just like, why don't we want to have that power? It's like the more power we give each other, people start to think they're taking it away from themselves.
Right.
It's like people don't understand when you share, all of us together are way stronger than us being alone. You know what I mean? An army is always better than a singular person if they're all in the same paper. Everyone can always equally win because that way you can never lose. If I borrow a little bit from everybody in this room, I'm rich. So I'm going to keep y'all rich as my friends so you can make sure, because I spend all my money, so I can make sure I'm all right. Right. I need a favor. You know what I'm saying? Like the only purpose for me to make everyone that I made famous is so that they can help me without putting up $1. So if it really come down to it, Jay, I need you to Instagram that. Yo, Kanye, just do that. It don't cost $1 to Twitter something out for me. All I need is for you to leverage your celebrity. It doesn't cost you $1. Just bring attention to my brands. That's what I made you famous for. If we stick together that way, we cannot lose.
I haven't got that deal yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's all relative. Like, if you're in the street, the first time you get a bird, it's a big deal. Like, oh, I got a bird. That's the success of for like someone in music, like being on the radio might be the biggest deal. But then, or the first time you get a tour bus, or the first time you perform at the Garden, there's so many different things. So, like things that I thought were big, once I get them, they're not big to me no more. Like once you make your first million, like man, quick, you're like, that wasn't nothing. That can't be big. I did too much too young to give it up, to even be impressed with myself yet. I have bigger dreams than trying to be getting a salary from some company. I need to own something, I need a legacy, like the Dashes are gonna be, I already know it, we're gonna be like the Kennedys and the Vanderbilt, we're gonna be an upstanding family. That's what I wanted to build. That's what I mean. But that's what I'm saying. I wanted it easy for my kids, and I want it easy for my kids' kids. And that's all I'm doing right now. We're just making sure that the company can run when I'm not around. You know what I'm saying? Family and company. That's what it has to be able to sustain. Everybody says they want to be the boss, but people be scared to be the boss. Most people are scared to put up their own money. Most people are scared to tell people to work when they don't want to. Most people are scared to even ask for their money. You understand what I'm saying? Like I've seen people that are uncomfortable about asking about their own business, like asking for change, you know what I'm saying? Or asking how much do you get paid, or when am I going to get paid, or where's my money? I have never felt uncomfortable about asking for my bread. And I've never understood people that were uncomfortable for asking for their bread. Right. And I really don't understand people that are offended by you asking for your bread. Right. You ask somebody for their money and they're like, what you asking? Like, I'm not supposed to ask for my money. I'm not supposed to ask about my money. Like the money and the business, there should be no emotion with asking about it because it's business. There should be no fear. You should never be ashamed to ask for your change, ever. Or to scrutinize a bill. After my daughters were born, I shut down everything I was doing. I invested all my money at Rachel Roy, and then I just opened up art galleries where creative people could come and coexist and make things happen without compromise the quality of living. Yeah. So I opened up DD 172, which was a 10,000 square foot gallery in the most expensive real estate in Manhattan, in Tribeca. And, I had people like Mos Def and Jay Electronica and Wiz Khalifa and Currency, and it just goes on, rock and roll, the Black Keys, Holy Ghost, Erykah Badu, all performing. I had an internet television station called Creative Control. This was in 2009.
So you were ahead of the curve on that stuff.
I'm always ahead of the curve. You want to know the future, just ask me.
Do you think bosses are born or are they made?
I think everyone has the potential to be a boss. Mm-hmm. I think you are born a boss and made a slave. No one's going to choose to be a slave. Who the f- want to be a slave? You got to be trained to think that life is good when it's not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're born a boss until somebody convinces you're not. Yeah, I'm born a boss. If I could breathe and I'm control of that, I'm a boss. Mm-hmm. And anything I own is mine, no matter who you are. You cannot come in here if I'm not breaking no laws, do not come in here. And if you do, it's on my terms or you breaking the law. Mm-hmm. And I can be confident and arrogant about that as long as I'm not breaking no laws. I just don't see the reason for being mad about making mistakes. Like, I don't know, man. I think I got yelled at one time when I was 4 and I felt embarrassed and I didn't like that feeling. So I did what the guy did with the cold. I figured out how to never be embarrassed. You know what I'm saying?
Teach me how.
You just don't give a f***. Once you don't give a f*** what people think, Like, logically speaking, why would you care about what someone's opinion is that you don't love, that doesn't love you, that's not even playing the same game you're playing? That's only, you know, the only reason why they have something to say is because they're insecure. Like, I don't see why I would be concerned about some insecure. Like, I think 1 million lames combined cannot equal one cool person. And meaning someone that's just honest about who they are. Like, it's not relatable, it's not realistic to think that anyone is perfect and anyone that is evil, because it's just not true. You know what I'm saying? And the good thing about imperfections is what makes you cool is how you deal with them. That's what makes you cool. You know what I'm saying? So I've never been afraid to be wrong. I always remember back to when I was young laughing at older niggas. I'm never gonna be that older nigga I was laughing at. I'm never gonna be that old man in the club. I'm never gonna be the dude that, you know, just because that one time I wore that outfit, everyone thought I was fly, I'm gonna wear it for the next 30 years. Like, I'm not doing that, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna evolve, I'm gonna grow. So it's not reinventing, it's y'all learning what I learn as I learn it. I'm growing. Once I learned this business was whack, I did another one, you know? And I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go do art. My midlife crisis was running around the world, opening up art galleries, you know? I like to do fly cool, like I bank on cool. I just like to do cool, you know, so I just think I gotta be smart about it. Like, I gotta be the plug, I gotta be the connect. So once I know how to do it myself, I could be real arrogant about it. And then I do it. And then when I win, it's like when everyone thinks you're losing and you win, it's so much better. Like when motherfuckers was making me the underdog, I was cracking up. I was like, this is funny as hell. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I can be patient. I think I'm gonna do it by the pool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I come out when I feel like it. You know, it's never been urgent. I've never found my Batman or the Joker. I haven't found my competition yet that inspires me to fight. I just feel like impressing my girl and my family and me. I don't even feel no competition.
Independence is priceless. It's just people that have never had it don't even understand. And I don't even expect them to, you know. And independence means usually putting up your own dough. You know, you have to put up your own money. That's independence. If someone else is putting up the money, that's dependence. You understand what I'm saying? Now you gotta move when they say move. You have to ask. You have to be nice. You have to laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You know what I mean? You have to be around the racists and let them say little things, little cute things. A nerd square that wouldn't survive in the street. And independence is like being, like, let me tell you the perspective of someone that's independent. If there's like a wild dog and he has to literally eat the food he kills, he cannot eat unless he kills something that day. And then there's a dog that's tamed. He lives in a house, but he has 3 square meals a day. He got to do tricks. He gets petted. He gets kicked out. He gets beat. He got to get walked. He walks on a leash. When that dog comes in the room with the wild dog is laughing. He doesn't care that you're in a mansion. He doesn't care that you eat steak every day. He still thinks you're a herb. He knows he can take from you because he knows he has to kill every day to eat. You know what I mean? And that's a confidence. That's a rock star. And that's the one thing that I know I will never give up. You know, the ability to be that. Like, I laugh at anyone that's a caged dog, you know, walked on a leash, told when to eat, and does tricks and rolls over for a check.
Why is it so hard to bet on yourself for a lot of people? Like, what's the hard? Why is that so hard for people to do? To pull up their own money and bet on themselves? When they see it really works out eventually.
Because when you put up your money, that's a struggle. And a lot of people don't just want to walk into a struggle. You know, it's like some people don't, even though they could fight, they're not really, you know, have the discipline to go to training camp and really focus and see it through. And like, they don't want to walk into the struggle to win. You have to want to win means you have to embrace pain. You have to embrace struggle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to know that nothing's going to be easy in order to be the best at it in the world. You have to do it and push yourself where most people won't. You know what I'm saying? And you got to be up for that, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you up for it, you could do it. But not everybody's up for it. Yeah. Not everybody really, conceptually they want it, but do they want the pain it takes to go get it? Right. And I have a lot, like, there's people that there's things about them I don't like, but I respect the fact that they're going to fight to get what they want. The fight. And regardless of whether our perspective is different or not, that fight, every time, whether it's wrong or right, the person that fights the hardest wins. You really ultimately know that if you really believe in yourself and you work hard at it, you'll achieve it. The question is, am I ready to work so hard that I'm better than everyone else?
You understand what I'm saying? And you have to answer that question within yourself. Am I ready to embrace all the pain that nobody else wants to embrace?
Yeah.
Am I ready to really work harder and do it so much that I'm better at it than everyone that does it?
Yeah.
It's really about the work ethic, really. It's a professional work ethic. You can't just be good at something. You have to be able to see things through and do the things that you don't enjoy. It's not really about the things that you enjoy. That's the easy part. It's the things you don't enjoy. That's the things that people usually shut down about. They just don't like it.
Yeah.
Just because you don't like something doesn't mean it's a failure.
What I do is I'm a businessman, right? In any business, the more crowded it is, the harder it is to do it. So I never want to hustle on a crowded block. So regardless of what, I'm always looking to do something that nobody's doing. So all I was looking at was what's the next wave logically. It was just logically. I was paying attention. You know what I'm saying? So once I realized it, I was like, it's the internet? This freedom was ridiculous. And plus, like, it was like, damn, if I know how to make this myself, like, content is like currency. It's the thing that makes money forever and ever. It's like when somebody smokes a joint, the weed is gone. You got to grow more weed. When somebody looks at something, you can pay over and over again to see it, and you ain't got to keep making it. I just look at what people pay for and do it myself. I'm the plug. I'm never a customer. Do it yourself and leverage your own celebrity.
Right.
So instead of letting somebody else make it, we make it, and then we don't have to pay for the marketing. It's easy. So now that I'm a brand for doing that, I can now completely invest in myself. But there's two games. One is making good work, and one is leveraging celebrity.
Right.
The good work, you ain't got to move. Good work, they find you. You ain't even got to promote your destination. When you ain't doing too good, that's when there's the overcompensation. You start hitting red carpets every day and doing other to distract the fact that you have no talent. You understand what I'm saying?
There were so many amazing talented performers that came out of New York in the late 80s and early 90s. Mary J, Biggie, Jay-Z, The Firm, Wu-Tang, and you were like a big part of that. Did you realize at the time how big that movement was going to be, and then what it was going to mean for the rest of the world and the rest of the music scene?
Yeah, I did.
You could feel it at the time?
Yeah. I knew that. That's why I was the person that was documenting everything, because I knew everything I was doing in that moment was legendary. So the way I would look at it would be like, damn, could you imagine if you had Jimi Hendrix and David Bowie and John Lennon before they cracked, or Mick Jagger in like a studio, or just kicking it before they got famous, and then imagine when they did. So because I was so confident in everything I was doing and all the people around me, I knew that what we were doing would probably set the stage for history. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think anybody was cooler than us, and I knew it actually, and it, it turned out I was right. In Harlem, I'm from Harlem, we had a crew called The Best Out, and we used to throw parties. And at the Cotton Club, we had Kick Capri DJing, and we used to make T-shirts, and we had our names on them, and we used to have basketball games. And a lot of people tried to do what we were doing. We were emulated. Like, I remember when we were throwing our basketball games, it would be like us, The Best Out versus Kev Chow's crew. They were called Boss, and it was crazy at the Gaucho Gym. And then the next thing I would see Puff do a basketball thing, but it ended up being tragic. But I knew that he was influenced by what we was doing. So I've always seen how my influence has been on the rest of the world from day one. And it still is like that. People still, take what I do and they're influenced by it. That's why I think at this point in my life, at 46, it's important to do things that are positive. So if people are going to emulate what I'm doing, they're emulating something positive, like eating healthy, like taking care of yourself, like being good to women and taking care of your woman, being a good dad, like loving your children. Like, to me, that's ultimate wealth. Loyalty is not convenient. If you can't just be loyal when it's like easy.
Convenient.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if there's a bag of money, but you got to do the wrong thing and be disloyal to somebody where you walk it, I don't
robbing friends.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And just, so sometimes, respect to me guides you and protects you from everything. If you lead with respect on anything, the right things will happen. You understand? I've never seen respect put anyone in harm's way. I've only seen respect always protect you. And then also, the ultimate test is always like to disrespect the people you love to get something physical, like some bread. You understand what I'm saying? That's the test. You know what I mean? And tests aren't meant to be easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what my test would always be. It would be like, am I going to play my culture, or am I going to get that dollar? You understand? And I just couldn't do it. Am I going to play my family?
As many times I'm sure you could have played the
all
culture.
The time.
Yeah.
All the time. That was my problem with the music business, because it was such a disloyalty to my culture to exploit it the way it was being exploited, and letting other cultures exploit it and not saying nothing, and being like, it's all right just because I'm making money. So just because I'm all right makes it, because I fought through it, it still didn't make it all right to just sit there and watch them rob the rest of the culture to me. That's why I always fought for it. You know what I mean? There was like guilt with it always. You know what I mean? Just being around people I didn't want to be around. When people make me the underdog, it's funny because they don't understand what the game I'm playing. Just because I'm not playing your game, or just because I'm not moving at the pace you moving, it don't mean I'm wrong. You know what I'm saying? Your win ain't the same win as mine. And it's never been. Like what I've always, like when someone thought a record deal was dope, I was like a label deal. You understand? Like you got a record deal, you should have a label deal. You know, you might have a TV show, you should have a network. You know, that's just how I think. I have boss thoughts. I'm always thinking boss. I don't know what
chapter right there. Boss thoughts.
I don't calm down.
Yes.
I don't know any other. I don't know any other language but boss language. You know what I'm saying? So when people don't talk in boss to me, I don't know what they're saying. You know what I'm saying?
It's a language.
There's approach.
It's a language.
Like people approach things like bosses, and people approach things like workers. A lot of people don't want to be bosses because there's so much responsibility that come with it.
Yeah.
You understand? They're scared of it, and I always say that. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But a boss only can think about it in boss terms. So if somebody says they want to get in business, some people might say, "Oh, I need somebody to give me a job." That's not a boss thought.
Right.
A boss says, if I want to get in business, my thought is, if I want to get in business, I'm going to create the business. I'm going to buy the business. You understand what I'm saying? Then I'm going to do the business, but I'm not trying to be hired.
Right.
My approach is always going to be bossy. You know, someone that's not used to being a boss, his thought process ain't bossy. He don't have boss thoughts.
Fluent boss.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, fluent in boss. And if you don't talk to me in boss, I don't understand what you're saying. For real.
Be like, huh?
And people, and people will think you're because they're like, no, that's not how I approach things.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm not celebrating that. That you got a job.
When you hear boss talk, it's like, I speak that.
Yeah.
I speak that language.
You can tell when somebody else talks boss.
Yeah.
Just by their approach on things. And someone that talks boss doesn't speak any other language. I only talk boss. The minute I had daughters, I was like, I got to change everything. I can't do anything to a girl that I don't want another man to do to my daughter.
So that was a real turning point for you.
The daughters for sure. My daughters changed my life. When my second daughter, Tallulah, was born, I decided to quit everything to make sure that anything I did, I put her first, not the business. See, before it was like business first because I got to pay for the kids, but it's like if you're not there to spend the money with your kids, it really doesn't matter. They need you and your company. So, and I saw all the things I was missing. So, you know, what do you think I'd rather do? Be on a yacht pouring champagne or a girl, or taking my daughter to get a cupcake? It's nothing better than taking your daughter to get a cupcake. You know, there's nothing better than watching your baby smile. You know, so it's true. You know, but it's like seems obvious, but you know, Lotto is really like energy. It's love. It's not like physical money, which really doesn't mean anything. It's just how good you make someone feel. It's how good your woman feels. How good your children feel. Like you have as much money as you know, billions of dollars, but if you're unhappy and you're lonely, you broke. If your kids are unhappy, you broke. You know, if your woman's unhappy, you broke. It's all about effort and what you can visualize in your mind. You know, if you can't think it can happen, and if you don't have confidence that it's gonna happen, it ain't gonna happen. So if you doubt yourself, like, you know, I box, or at least I used to, I'm not getting in the ring unless I know I'm gonna win, or else I already lost. And I look at everything I do like that. I'm winning, and there is nothing. It's 100%. Everything is about perspective and what you consider a win. You know, some people think they're winning because other people think they're winning, even though they don't feel good about what they're doing. They're like, oh, you think I'm winning, so that must mean I'm winning. But I feel like that's not winning. You know, you have to know what makes you happy, what you consider a win. Not everybody's win is the same. You know what I'm saying? But people like to fit in with their W's, but not me.
The reason why people take jobs is because they got to pay their bills. When you say be a boss or be independent, everybody should be an entrepreneur. Everyone has an apartment, right? You're the boss in your apartment, right? No matter what, no matter how little it is, whether it's a big house or a little house, that space right there, you're the boss. Right. That's what your business is. That's what your life is. You create the space so you can control it. You control your environment, but you have to architect that. You want to live in a house, build it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna give it to you. But once you get in that house, I don't care if the president or whoever it is, anywhere, he walk in my house, Obama, you still got to listen to me in this house. People think it's safe to have a job, but if somebody could fire you, how is that safe? Right. Period. Like, you got to be nice to somebody. If they don't like you, they can fire you. And the people that can fire you don't be owning this shit either. They be supervisors. So then it becomes like political. There's no politics when you're the boss. It's my way or no way. Because I believe that. You see that at any point, no matter how much you contribute, that whole thing can be taken away at any particular time. Right. So how does somebody then go and just make that shift to...
The same they're doing for somebody else, do it for yourself.
Right.
If you a paid editor, edit your own movie. You a paid writer, write your own magazine. You know, it's like the thing is nobody ever gave me anything. No one gave me no record deal. I had to do it myself.
Right.
So imagine if I would have waited for a deal for Jay-Z, there'd be no Jay-Z, there'd be no Kanye, there'd be no Lee Daniels, there'd be no Kevin Hart, there'd be no Rachel Roy.
Right.
None of that. You know what I'm saying? Right. None of them, I had to build all that. Like, no one's gonna hire me to direct. You know what I mean? No one's gonna hire me to be the CEO of a company. I made the company, I'm the CEO of it, period.
How do you feel about Rockefeller today? Is it the same attitude that...
I think it's a shame it doesn't exist anymore. You know, I think the way that it dissolved was kind of selfish, but I ain't gonna get into that. You know what I'm saying? But it would have been nice to see everybody doing well as opposed to one person. And that's the way I wanted Rockefeller. I made it, you know, I believe in the circle of success where everybody gets rich. I don't want to make employees, I want to make bosses.
Yeah, it's more of a family enterprise.
Well, it was, you know, but then it turned out to be one person stayed rich and everyone else had to work for him. And that's not how I looked at Rockefeller. And what I realized is I need to make and invest in things that I could pass to my family. So I had to invest more in myself as opposed to investing in other people, because not everybody has the same ideology as me. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody, you know, looks at things the same way. So, you know, I should have probably paid a little more attention in making assets that I own as opposed to making other people. Because my thing was I was putting people in power so that they could put us in power. But every time I put somebody in power, they would shut the door and they just wanted all the power.
You know, people get hungry as soon as they get...
It's just human nature. It's how men are. It's the testosterone in them. That's why I also surround myself more with women, because women don't tend to be so jealous.
Do you think that's more of an exclusively male thing then?
I
That
think
females aren't as like hungry when they get in that position?
I think males are so supremely insecure that they turn into clowns.
A lot of people will cheat and try to cut corners, but I don't consider that a win. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I know the game I'm playing and I sign on to it, that's the only way I want to win at it. I don't want to cheat to get there, because then I didn't win at my game. I actually lost.
You actually lost.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm not going to play your game. I only play my
You
own.
only cheat when you don't fully believe in your abilities in the first place.
Yeah, it's overcompensation, for sure.
Yeah.
But then that's like a different kind of win. You know, you're playing a different game.
We have chapters in our life.
Yes.
You know, the cool about the way I approach things is I always have like an ill bucket list. You know what I'm saying? And there's a bunch of things that I want to do in my life, and eventually I know I'm going to do it.
Okay.
So young, I wanted to hustle. I got that off my bucket list quick. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a music mogul, off my bucket list. I wanted to be a fashion mogul, off my bucket list. I wanted to sell oil, off my bucket list. I wanted to have art galleries, off my bucket list. And the things that were like on my bucket list were things like I'd be like, even though you saw it in the book, one day I'm gonna do a diabetes network. I'm gonna do something that's just about diabetes. I did it.
Yeah.
It's off my bucket list. You understand what I'm saying? One of the things on my bucket list is to own a football team. One of my things on my bucket list is to have a network, you know, a real channel, to have a hotel. So there's always like a chapter in my life where I attack that bucket list. One of the things on our bucket list is to grow land. You understand what I'm saying? And to be able to have a farm. I was trying to grow cotton, make the clothes from the cotton and be completely vertical.
Right.
That's what we were trying to do in North Carolina. I think when you have consciousness, you become responsible, you know? And I think the truth is a heavy burden, because usually the truth teller gets crucified, like Jesus. You know, the person that tells the truth is always gonna have to fight the people that are lying. And because the people that are lying are cheating, you're not fighting the same fight. Like that they'll do, you won't do. So how do you protect yourself? You gotta be extra strong. You gotta be like Batman. You gotta be like a superhero, but looked at as a criminal. It's a life you gotta choose. And that's the life that I did choose, because life has been so easy for me. I've had so much fun every second. I've benefited and monetized my everything that I love at every time. You know, I'm 47 years old. I'll be 47 in May. What else should I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, and plus, I don't like the people that are taking advantage in front. And I think they're soft. And I want everybody to know. So that's why I call out names like Leor Cohen and Charlie Wack and Barry Clawberg, you know, Steve Stout. All of those people that I feel have done that and have really taken advantage, I think I don't want other people to get taken advantage of. So that's like, if you see a child molester in the neighborhood, it's your responsibility to say, yo, don't have your kids around them. And I love my culture like they're my children. They're not my children. I'm not being that cocky, but we all family. So I'm gonna look out for my cousins and my family at all times.
I first got record deals, and I didn't like the experience of it. You know, they were telling me, it didn't work out. And I had Jay-Z, and I was shopping Jay-Z, And every single person in the music business, I took them to every single label, and they told me he was too old, too corny, nothing, just damn near laughed me out. Every one of them could not see where he was, so we had to do it ourselves.
Sure.
So off top, we kind of, because when you're the plug in the street, you think like the plug everywhere.
Yes.
So I'm thinking, who's the boss here? Who do I need to talk to? There is no boss in corporate because no one really owns it. It's public. So I was like, I got to do this on my own. So we did it on our own. So knowing that we had the best rapper on the planet, knowing that these were the lanes that were making the decisions, that business model never worked for us. So we decided to make our own business model and do it on our own, where we never had to compromise any integrity or compromise of equity.
I would love to know what your outlook is when you, in your past, have had a setback. How do you
I've never had a setback but death.
Okay.
That's the only setback is health and death and jail. Other than that, those are just life tests.
So like,
what's a setback?
Like if a friend comes to you and they feel like they failed at something, what would you tell them to change that perspective of the word failure?
Turn a loss into a learning experience. Do it again until you get it right, period. You never did anything right the first time. Practice makes perfect. It's just like you ain't gonna make a muscle the first time you pick up a barbell. You gotta do that and do it for a while. Then your blood pumps and then you strong. Go get strong. Pull your skirt up. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna be nice about it. I'm sick of that. Everybody's depressed because they're trying to fit into a puzzle. They're trying to be a circle in a square. And you're told what to do and you're told what to eat and you're told what's good and bad and what the perspective of success is. Success is love. Success is your family. Success is how much you laugh. I don't care how much money you got in the bank. If you got a crooked smile, if your people around you don't want to be around, your breath stinks and all that, you're broke. Period.
What do you do, like, just to relax? I mean, you're always running. What do you do to, like, just, other than the kids, just, is there something you meditate?
I smoke weed. I lay by the pool a lot.
Good.
Like, this is cool. Like, I wasn't here all day. You know what I'm saying? I came in when I felt like it. I went, got my daughter, came back, went back. I was swaying.
Living life.
It's living life, but I'm doing it on my terms.
Right.
I'm doing it like I'm productive, but I'm not tired because when you doing what you love, like everything I'm doing, I would do for free. I'm lucky enough that I can monetize what people do for recreation. You know what I'm saying? So how could I ever complain and be tired? I'm having way too much fun to be tired.
How did you apply the stuff from the street to the business world?
Well, let me explain it to you. So when you deal with a bunch of people that are tamed and you're a wild animal, you get in a room, you laugh at them. You don't be scared of them. I always thought they were a joke because I had executed business under a different circumstances. So I always thought they were funny. And also because they were working for other people and I was putting up my own money, I didn't really respect as much. Like, a boss wants to talk to another boss. So it made me know not to be corporate when I went into that world. I went very arrogantly. I didn't feel like, because I was always ahead of the game. I got my first deal at 19.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I felt like the people that I was dealing with shouldn't even be talking to me a certain way, even telling me was cool because they were nerdy to me. What we were leveraging in that point was cool. I was selling music, swag. I was coming from the authentic street like in the 80s. So it wasn't nothing that you could tell me. And then I had a mind because I was educated. So I saw them trying to trick me into believing I was dumber than I was. So for that, I was a beast. It was just like it was a joke. You know what I mean? So I did it. We just did it on our own.
So you took it personally.
Well,
you were offended. I mean, it sounds like you were offended to me.
I'm passionate about everything I'm doing. This is about creative business.
Okay.
So, of course, when someone disrespects your intellect, you take it personal. I'm a man. I got testosterone for sure.
Sure.
But that's part of being an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? But also, I'm coming from a place where I had to fight for my real estate and prove that you shouldn't have it. So certain kinds of people can never talk to me a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? Just because they weren't men like I was men. Again, they weren't putting up their own money. They didn't have the cool and they weren't doing what I was doing. It was like I knew always my worth at all times. And I always knew what my brain was capable of doing. I come from a very extreme circumstance. I come like frontline street, like 142nd and Lenox. And if you did break any of those laws, you died or went to jail. So I didn't have too many choices. So I don't really know no different. You know what I mean? So I just applied everything I learned from my survival skills. And obviously I survived. And I came again from a very dangerous place. I survived it just by being honorable, playing the game right, being loyal. And I was like, this game right here is not sustainable. Niggas die. Being honorable means you got to kill when they disrespect you. You got to go to jail and not, all that type.
That's not a game I want to play. I'm gonna just take these ideals and apply them, instead of to crack, apply it to music. Instead of to dust, apply it to fashion. It's just taking the same principles and applying it, and everything I've learned really has come from hustling. It's just flip it.
Right.
You know, you buy something, you bottle it up, you sell it, you make double, and then you put that back and you keep doing it. So once you know that discipline, why do you need anybody? Like, I never wanted anybody to hit me with no work. I never wanted that.
What I saw in Kanye's face when he was helping us is something that people don't get. When you help people that deserves it, it gives you a really good feeling. It makes you feel better than anything. I saw him smiling and laughing, and I was like, he gets it now. Because that's how I feel every time I help somebody get where they got to go. And, you know, I did it just because I wanted to, just because I was inspired, not because I was trying to exploit them, but just because I really liked who they were and what they were doing. And I want that to be a contagious energy, and I really hope that overall that's what Honor Up does. It makes Honor Up be the new wave, looking out for the people that looked out for you, doing the right thing.
I'm a very sophisticated guy. You know what I mean? I have good taste.
Right, good.
And I've always loved art. And only thing you need to make a gallery is walls.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, instead it's just a narrative. I call it a gallery as a gallery, and I put art on it, and people come in. If they buy the art, I get 50% of it. That's the art business. But what it does is it brings very artistic people together. So, you know, art brings all kind of creatives together. Actually, I always have a collective, so, because when someone's good at editing, they're usually good at a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's good at rapping or singing, they're good at acting, they're good at painting. Like, creatives are just creatives. And, you know, sometimes people only do what they think they can do. If you don't know the business, you just say, oh, I can't do it, so I don't,
Right.
just like an art gallery. See, me, I'm always thinking on how to do it, and it's usually not that hard. And then I also look at who does it, and then I compare myself
Right,
to
yeah, like, he can do
I
it.
can do it.
You know, I did the record label thing years ago, so I couldn't go back. It'd be like, you know, pitching nickels to me just because I did it before. No disrespect to the company or to the music industry, because there's a lot of bread there. It's just I did it. So, you know, the expectation in myself is to do something that, you know, fits the levels that I should be at. And what I noticed was, you know, number one, we were outsourcing so much shooting music videos, and we making the clothes, and you know, I like to make movies. It just made sense for me to have my own television network. And, you know, when the internet hit, because I'm always looking for independence, I was like, oh, I could do it. And I didn't feel the need to outsource. Like, I always feel like a Johnny if I'm paying somebody to do something I know I could do myself. Like, I always feel like the plug. I can grow that. I ain't buying it from you. I'll grow it and sell it to you. You know, that's my approach on things. So I also feel that I'm also really good at making films. So because I can make films, make movies, I understand the game. I really like ran the cash register there. And because I have a business mind, I'm gonna invest in that.
Honestly, every single second of my life is meant, and everyone else's life, I think, is meant to be a learning experience. So when something happens that didn't go the way you wanted it to, you look at what you learned from it, right? And there's been businesses that I got completely robbed for short paper, but what I learned from it protected me from getting robbed for big paper. You understand what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm so happy in this very moment. I'm so happy. Like, scary happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's like the misconception that you're not.
In the middle of a pandemic, all my dreams are coming true, which is crazy to me. So I would have to say, if there was anything that would stop me from being this happy now, or that would change, it was like, is there anything I could have done that could have made me as happy as I am now? I'm happy now because every decision that most people thought would be tough, every business I walked away from, every person I walked away from, every person that I punished that everyone told me not to, from a Leor Cohen to a Harvey Weinstein, I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I was in a position to do it. I'm glad I'm that guy that these guys are known to be bullies and I bullied them. I'm the bully of bullies. I'm happy about that. So I love the fact that these challenges and these tests have presented themselves to me, and I could get in the shower, I'm like, damn, I really am a superhero. I never ever waver when it comes to honor, never have. I've walked away from people that no one would walk away from. I barked on people that no one would bark on until everyone is barking on them. I did it alone.
Now I've got a special bonus clip that I think you're gonna enjoy, but before that, it's time for the question of the day. I wanna know, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week? When you watch a video and you get motivated, the science says you have a 35% chance of following through. That's not enough. But when you write down what time, what place, and how you're going to actually take action on it, you jump to 91% chance of following through. And when you have public accountability and you commit to other people that you're gonna do it, it jumps to 95% that you will follow through. So I want that for you, Believe Nation. I wanna know your single biggest takeaway from this video and your plan of action for the next week. Put it down in the comments below so I can celebrate you.
The win should be when you have won by your standard, by not someone else's. Because what people are generally like insecure, and people generally look the other way. They do things that are illogical, and they all have their own set of problems. So everyone considers a win different. So why would I consider my win something that makes you happy? I'm gonna consider my win something that makes me and my family and my kids and my girl happy. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to look like I'm rich to make you happy. I need to be rich.
Right.
So guys think they're rich because they might have monetary, like very, very like temporary money that they could take care of themselves.
Right.
But that's not rich. Rich is being able to take care of your kids' kids.
Right.
Being able to make it where your generation or the generation after you doesn't have to go through the same problems as you did.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.